What's going on, guys? It's your boy Straw Hat Goofy with another YouTube video for you, your movie guy. And today we're going to be talking about Daredevil Born Again. This is the Daredevil series that's been 7 years in the making. It's been 7 years since we last saw the Netflix side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where a sweeping cancellation of things like Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Defenders, Jessica Jones, and Daredevil were all canceled in one fell swoop. And one had to wonder if Daredevil will ever make his return to the MCU. Well, lo and behold, I believe it was 2 or 3 years ago, they announced that he is coming back. And to be honest, there's a lot riding on this show, right? Like, honestly, I've said multiple times that this is a gut check year for Marvel and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because there's a lot of things coming home and there's a lot of kind of interest kind of waning. So these things that are coming home, like Fantastic Four, which is coming back from Fox, Daredevil, which is coming back from Netflix, obviously Captain America Brave New World was like almost a testing ground for this year, but I feel like Daredevil is the real first thing of this year that will make us go, okay, I think we really have something here, because that was always a different tone to the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where the Netflix side was very dark, very gritty, felt very real and very human. You had the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which felt more fantastical and felt a little bit, I don't want to say CG heavy, but yes, very CG heavy, very like bigger budget, just a little bit more hollow. Not necessarily like saying that's a bad thing, but they just did not feel as lived in as the Marvel Cinematic, as the Netflix side. And so now bringing Daredevil into the fold, can they still bring those things that people love from the Netflix series and adapt it to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and make it believable to where we say he actually is living in that world? Obviously, he's had cameos and things like Echo and most notably Spider-Man No Way Home. So we can see that he could be with these characters, but when it comes to his own show and like filling out this corner, can we get what we love while still believing that it's part of that thing? And I'm happy to say that with this 2-episode premiere that happened yesterday, 6 p.m. last night, it is pretty much more the same, for better or for worse, right? And I feel, before I really get into this, I need to say that more of the same can be a little bit of a danger, right? Because putting Daredevil into this new context of this MCU, you want to kind of like not do the same thing. You kind of not want to spin your wheels on what Daredevil was. You kind of want to give a fresh take while also letting those fans who love what that thing was keep it, right? So it still has the blood, it still has the guts, it still has the gore, it still has a great performance from Charlie Cox. He's completely in, like, at home with the role, as well as Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk. Those two guys feel like they haven't missed a beat, right? And, I have my criticisms of Wilson Fisk's characterization and things like Echo and things like Hawkeye, where I felt like he was a little bit more cartoony. He felt a little bit too Disney-fied. I hate saying that word, but he felt a little bit too soft, right? Where he's like punching people and they're bouncing all over the place, where the Wilson Fisk, he was a more imposing figure because he seems like the type of dude who can off you with his bare hands or, with a car door. But I'm happy to say that there's a lot of that realism that is happening here. However, it does feel like we're getting more of a budget, and for better or for worse, because one, there's more CGI in this. There's more CGI added to the movements of Daredevil, especially in that opening fight scene. That feels a little wonky. It feels a little too fluid to me, right? And they still try to add those moments of him being tired, him feeling like a real person within these fights. That was very reminiscent of the first season big hallway scene that kind of kicked off every hallway scene. But there was a scene on the roof where I'm just kind of like, he looks like a video game character. And somebody in my comments said that they like that because we get more of a acrobatic version of Daredevil. I agree with that. That's cool. I like a more acrobatic Daredevil, but I also like a more real feeling Daredevil, because Daredevil, he just has heightened senses, but he's still a guy, right? So I really like that, and I hope that we don't completely lose that as this season goes on. But when we get more budget, that means like the cinematography, the filming technique, the framing, the directing, all of it just, it feels different than the Daredevil that we know, and that was a big update to what we got. So like things like, when he starts to hear things, there was like kind of like a glare in the camera that zeroed in on his ear, and then the aspect ratio changes so that way we know what he's focusing on. I found those techniques to be like really, really, really dope. And then there's, getting back to the fight scene that was in the bar, us moving from the bar out of the bar, back into the bar, and then into the back of the bar, all in one take while there's smoke and the lights are cutting out. I found that to be a really well done fight scene. I thought it, especially with the chaos of what we're going to talk about, because, I was waiting a little bit to talk about the thing that happened in the first episode. But I feel like these techniques is what is a great way to establish that this is a different show while still being the show that you love. It's elevated, or at the very least, it is a different version of what you already like. Now, to really get into like the spoiler of it all, I'm sorry, I just had like PTSD. What happened to Foggy? I am not okay. If you watch my reaction on TikTok or Instagram, it surprised the hell out of me. It broke me. Like, it was the way that they set that up, right? You either knew it was going to happen or you didn't. I was in a camp that did not, because I was like so elated that we were getting reacquainted with these characters after 7 long years, just seeing Foggy, Matt, and Karen coming out of that practice and being happy and going to a bar with the music and him talking about nostalgia and how we have hope for the future and how it felt like we're back. I literally said this. I said, we are back. And then bullseye had to happen, because unfortunately he's back too, or very fortunately, he's one of my favorite villains from the Marvel Netflix series. But unfortunately, he's back too. And he just said, Foggy, you're done. And in the same way, he said, Karen, you're also done. First episode, he not only offed Foggy, he offed the relationship between Matt and Karen. And that was just, it was a great way to say, welcome back. This isn't what you think it's going to be. And I was just, it just really like, yeah, it killed me. It killed me. It killed Foggy too. But it just kind of set the stakes for what was happening. And I feel like the big themes of this series is Daredevil being broken down in order to build himself back up again. And I feel like that's what is happening with Wilson Fisk. That's what's happening with Matt Murdock, how they're both trying to change who they are, or at the very least, trying to do things in their mind the right way. But when it comes to being a superhero, when it comes to being a crook, there is a lot of backsliding involved, and there is a lot of variables that happen around them that cause them to go back into their old ways. One of my favorite scenes is Wilson Fisk as a mayor is letting the chief of police know that, hey, I can dig some dirt on you if you want. Still be my commissioner so I can control you. He still has that level of control even when he's in a position of political power. Now, and Matt Murdock obviously is just trying to be a lawyer. However, like, you can't turn your back on someone in need. And the key witness in the trial for White Tiger, funny enough, that's a whole nother video. But he gets pulled into that because if he didn't, his witness is going to get off. So he has to bring the devil back again. And so these two are on a collision course of, identities being tested, their metal being tested. Can they really remain on this path that they're on right now? Or are they just destined to be Kingpin and Daredevil? Which I find very interesting because, again, more of the same. Daredevil just seems to always go through these motions of, should I be Daredevil? Should I be not? Wilson Fisk is over here doing his thing. I should probably, it could get a little old. It could get a little stale. I feel like for now, it's okay because we're getting reintroduced. People who haven't watched the original Daredevil series can come and watch this and know what they're getting more or less, and then old fans can kind of say, oh, I remember this. But you can't do this forever. And, you have to get Daredevil into a place where he's new, because it's not like the comics. You can't just do the same stories for like 50 decades and expect people to like not say anything about it, right? So I hope that they break out of that box pretty soon, especially for this season, because he is going to have to interact with other like Avengers and things of that sort. One last thing I want to say about this is like, and this was a big thing in episode 2, is that they're really giving me the 2016 presidential election vibes when it comes to Mayor Fisk. And obviously this is a storyline that was like taken out of 2017 or something like that, right after that 2016 real life election. And whenever like superhero like media crosses over into real life, it makes me happy because it shows that this is what these stories are for. And Mayor Fisk pretty much being a stand-in for the orange guy, and like all his fans around him, specifically James Gandolfini's son. I can never remember his son's name. So sorry if I can't remember your name right now. But little Gandolfini, like being like this super fan saying, Mayor Fisk, that's the coolest thing ever. It's like, why? He's a criminal. He's a criminal. But as Matt said, if this is who the people voted for, maybe this is the people that they deserve. They're really going to be hitting home. They already beat you over the head with it in the first 2 episodes, but they're really going to be hitting home on this, like, Mayor Fisk, like, kind of inciting, like, these people to kind of be what they are. Like, oh, he's a self-made man, and, like, I can basically be him. When in reality, Fisk doesn't give a damn about them, right? And you already saw, like hints to Punisher, where, like, the cops are wearing the Punisher symbol, which is a real-life thing. The cops wearing the Punisher tattoos are a real life thing, especially the dirty cops, especially the brutal cops, the ones who, you know, the ones. And the way that they put that into the show, I am waiting for a moment where Frank Castle is found and he's like, those cops don't represent me. In fact, I'm off those cops. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to see Punisher be ACAB, and then now all the cops that are kind of like following that like moniker, which isn't what they think it means, to find out from Frank Castle himself, like, yeah, nah, this isn't what it is. So yeah, there's a lot of things going on in these first 2 episodes. I feel like I've been yapping for about 10 minutes now. Jesus Christ. It's going to be hard to edit this down in a minute, but you guys let me know what you're thinking about the 2 season premiere for Daredevil Born Again. I'm going to try and do these every week as the episodes come out. Make sure you guys leave a comment. Make sure you share. Make sure you like. And also hit the bell to get notified for my other videos. And also follow the Get Wrecked with Straw Hat Goofy podcast. We have really great interviews there with celebrities, your favorite influencers, some of my friends. It's a really great podcast. But I'm biased. You let me know how you feel about it. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. And I will catch you next time when we talk about the next movie, or in this case, the next TV show.